Hello and welcome to my podcast. My name is Margit and I am a German who lives in Norway since 2 years. And I enjoy so much seeing podcasts from other knitters and designers. So I feel so much inspired by them and what they do and to get new ideas. So I thought it would be so nice to share my own. And so I hope you get inspired maybe to start a new project or you discover a new yarn. And I also want to talk about or share with you some nature pictures or recordings. Because for me, nature is so important and I enjoy it so much. It gives me so much calm and inspiration also for my knitting and for colors and the seasons. So it's I really feel this is so much connected for me, nature, knitting and wool and everything natural. So this podcast will be about knitting mainly, but also about yarn dyeing maybe, because sometimes I dye yarn and I also spindle it. So I think I will add also now and then other yarn related crafts. So, but for now, today I want to share with you some finished objects I knitted, and I want to tell you about my work in progress as well, and also about the practice I started recently of journaling, and this is very much connected to my knitting. Yes, so let's start. The first thing I want to show you is my mittens I knitted. So I made a fingerless pair, and this pattern I used is called trettifem, and I took it from a book I purchased last summer. Found it in a local bookstore, and it was I fell immediately in love with the book and how it is designed, and I want to show it to you also. But first we talk about the mittens. So they are made from quite a rustic natural yarn. It's non-superwash yarn, and it's the yarn from the IONA yarn shop. And IONA is an island in the belonging to Scotland, and they have their sheep on the island, and the yarn comes only from sheep living on that island. So it's quite often very it's very indigenous. It's like just located from that place, the yarn, and I found their yarn on the Edinburgh Yarn Festival I attended a few years ago as a visitor. And I have knitted also from that wool. I have knitted also this big, huge cardigan, because this cardigan, you can't see it now. And actually the ceiling is too low to stand up and show it out to you, but this cardigan is from the same wool. It's the Corvid cardigan, and it sounds very similar to what we all get too much about, I think. But anyway, it's from WIP Design. You can find it on the Brookly Tweed website. And I had some leftovers from that cardigan, from the yarn I used, and I know I made a fitting, like a matching pair of mittens for it, because I changed also a bit the pattern. And that project was a project also where I tried where I tried out a lot of different knitting techniques which were new to me. So, for example, I used a tubular bind off here the first time, and I feel it makes it more a sturdy ending. It's not so thin like usually bind off, and it's not so thick like you would have in for example in an icon bind off. So I feel that is a very good thing to do for end of a sleeve or for mitten. And I also tried the tubular cast on, but I wasn't satisfied with the result. It was looking very uneven. I also tried with different needle size because I see that people recommend this or suggest this if you're not so happy with it, but I felt it wasn't for me. So I would rather do a provisional cast on then, and after this put on the tubular bind off instead of the tubular cast on. Yes, and also another thing what I seen, how I knitted this thumb, I knitted it inside out. So what it means is, I will turn this around for you. So when you have your knitting, you come through the thumb section and you cast on some extra stitches here where you join it, and you put the extra stitches on needles. And in this case it was only, I think I had only 16 stitches. So it was like, if you use double point needle method, you would have 4 on each needle, which is really not a lot when you think of the color work. And if you think of that, when you usually knit color work in the round, you will easily have taking the yarn shortcuts, like where the needles, where you switch from one needle to the next. The yarn could take easier shortcut here, this strand, and makes it really tight. And so what I did, because I saw it somewhere on a picture or a video, I can't remember now where this was, but I thought, no, this is such a brilliant idea. It's like you just turn it inside out and you knit the pattern by looking on the right side of the fabric, but the strands will float on the outer side of your knitting, so they are forced to go the full length around, and they don't take any shortcuts in between. So I tested it the first time and it worked really, really good for me. So I will do this also for further projects I want to knit, because I want to knit more mittens from the book I'm going to show you. Yeah, and that was a really good thing to try. And I also like in this pattern with the thumb that it makes the thumb, like, because there's color work on, it makes the thumb a bit more dense here and quite warm. Because if you think the thumb is a single small thing that can really cool out quickly, and you have a color work on this extra, it just keeps it more warm, so to say, because you have a little extra layer of wool here on the thumb. And I also made these mittens. The normal pattern comes in just to get knitted up to here, but I made it longer because I saw it on the Fiber Tales podcast. Lerke, she designed some mittens and she made the made them also longer, and I thought this is such a good idea. I want to try it for my own mittens, and since I had this already on the needles, I thought I would try it on that one, and I just made it longer so you covered your whole fingers, like when you walk, and you don't need to use your fingers to grab anything. But if you need to, like getting something out of your bag or using your phone or whatever, then you can flap it around and you have it still freedom to grab and handle the tiny things. And yeah, that worked so far super good. I tested it now 2 times outside. It already got dirty here, like, and on the thumb, got really dirty when I was climbing over a fence here from the neighbor when I had a little walk in the nature. And yeah, it was not forbidden or something, but they have the fences to keep the sheeps like on one area. So and usually the fences you can actually open to pass, but that one was so much tightened up with the rope, so I didn't want to make it open, so I just climbed over it. And yeah, that is the mittens, and I really like that this cuff here on the bottom is extra long, and I also matched it with the cuff pattern. I matched it with the pattern from my cardigan, and so you can put it either over like some garment you have on to seal up this little gap here, or you can also have it under it. If you think you have maybe a jacket over and the jacket sleeve is much wider, and you put it just into the sleeve like this, and you seal up the whole gap between the jacket and your arm, so it makes it really warm. So I found this super practical. Yes, that were my mittens, and I really want to show you the book where I took it from, because this book, it's so nice. So it's called, I have the Norwegian version, I have to say. The original one is Swedish, and mine is called trettifem votter, which means 35 mittens, and it's from Maja Karlsson. And this book has also a history. She was designing for 1 year just mittens, and you could really see, like here you see on the back, there are all the mittens you can find in the book, and you can really see that the different types and kind of let's say designs, they're quite varying. So some of them are really colorful and playful and have tiny details, and some of them are really minimal and just simple and straight, and with not so much color in. So I feel there is for every taste is some mittens in this book. And what I especially love, because I'm usually not so much into too much color, I really like monochrome colors or color combinations in like shades of one color, or just 2 colors, like one main basic color, like gray, or like what is the word? Not basic, but it's like, what I mean is like color that really is in the background, like gray, and it's not so popping, and then maybe one contrast color as a popping color. I like that. And inside I have to show you some pictures. It's the beautiful photograph which made me bought the book in the first place. Because I thought, okay, I don't know if I would actually need a book just for mittens to knit, but the photographs were so nice. Let's see this. And let me find some more. Yeah, and so she has the mittens she photographed a lot with the landscape of Sweden, which is very similar to Norway, and also with this rustic traditional environment, kind of in this old logwood houses, and like this one. Look at this one. This house is reminds me so much of the house where I lived before for 1 year, in a logwood house, and with 8 months in the year was snow. So it's like almost I could really, it gives me kind of a flashback to that time for where I lived in that house and that time. Yeah, so it's beautiful photographs for this mittens, and I think the English version is called Maja's Mittens. Yeah, I think it's Maja's Mittens. I will write it in the show notes. I will check it again. And like this ones. Oh, I want to knit this ones like also. So I should not show you the pattern actually. But yeah, they come. So the design comes over both mittens. That's really cool. So that was the book, and yeah, then I have another finished object, which is a hat, and I'm quite a bit proud of it. Because it's my own design, and the hat has a lot of texture in, and it's very warm because the yarn I used, it's Norwegian wool. It's from Hillesvåg, and the yarn is called Troll, and it is a bulky weight yarn, and so it knits up super quickly. You can knit this hat in, I think just a couple of hours, and I didn't actually plan to make a pattern for, because I knitted this hat as first as a gift for my cousin, but it turned out so nice. I actually wanted also one for myself then, and I had the yarn still there, so I just decided to write it also down as a pattern as I knit the sample for myself. And yeah, let's put it on. I won't put it on. So it's a snug fit, and it's quite tight on the head, like not much volume around. And maybe I can show you like this. Yes, and it's really warm. So yeah, and it comes it comes with a twisted stitch ribbing here, which brings in some extra texture, and it comes then with these it looks like a woven texture. I mean, I found this in book, in one of my books I have with patterns, and I think there are several versions of this also online to find. And when I saw this, I thought I have to kind of incorporate it somehow in the head. And yeah, so it reminds me so much of the trees that I pass when I have my walks outside by the river here. It's just 5 minutes from the house, and the branches of the trees, they go in that angle, and they go super straight out. And if you have them one tree and another tree next to each other, they kind of make also these crossings from the branches. So you have really this almost graphic structure there, very even, and that reminds me so much here in this pattern, that you have like the trees coming and they have the branches sticking out and crossing. And for the crown, I made this swirly crown, which was tried to mimic the ferns that grow in the woods and next to, like, where it's really wet next to the water. And they also have this swirly leaves on it. So yeah, so that was the head. And yeah, it's done. And the next thing I would like to share is my work in progress. And I work since quite a while. I work on a cardigan. And this cardigan gives me so much trouble and so much to learn, because I try to make my own design, and I have no really education in all the skeins here are rolling around now, and I have no education in making a garment actually, and I have to learn it all from scratch, because it just appears to be such a difference between knitting after a pattern and trying to make your own. And yeah, I will show you how far I am today. And I was having that already more further knitted, but yeah, it happened that I had to unravel it and do it again. So this is the progress so far, and it's going to have a V-neck, and it's plain stockinette stitch, and It has the sleeves are constructed with the contiguous method, and now I'm just on the way to. I just separated here the sleeve and the body. So yeah, and what I really like is it's going to be a simple design. I decided to not put in too much texture because I feel the wool is so busy already. It will not show off. All samples I tried, they really don't show off so good with texture, so it's kind of in a fight with the variegated wool already and the texture then in. So I decided to go for a very nice texture for the button. And look at this. Oh, sorry for the sound. Oop. And I try to get it closer without getting the noise too high. I think it's a bit hard to see, but the button band has a quite nice. It's like included in knitting in the rows, so you don't have to attach it later. You just include it in when you knit, and also the button holds. And it's going to be a long cardigan which goes over the bum. That is what I plan, and I also want to include pockets. Yes, and it's quite an emotional roller coaster with this cardigan for me, because yeah, it's just I make a plan, and then I try and knit, and then it turned out not the way I wanted it, and I have to redo it, and then I change, and I didn't think of the impact of those changes again, so it turned out different again. Yeah, it's so much learning, but yeah, also about myself and being patient with myself. And about the yarn, this is the yarn. This is again from Hildesmark, Norwegian yarn, from a special Norwegian breed. The yarn is called Tinder, and it is the breed is called oh, what was the name? It's not Wilsau, it's not Spelsau, it's Pelsøl. And it's quite a bit like, yeah, it's quite rough and coarse. And that skein I dyed myself with rhubarb root. And yeah, it's a very beautiful dye. I didn't like it in the first place, honestly, because it was a bit too warm, and it was not so much fitting to me, I thought. But later, when I washed it again with soap to get out the spinning oil, because it causes me actually quite a skin irritation. It was so rough on my skin that I decided I try to wash it to soften it up. And with this washing in soap, the spinning oil got out, and that also changed the color a bit to a bit more cold color. And I can't even say what color is it exactly. It's kind of almost a rosé color, but also like a bit mauve, I would say. Is that the right name to name the color? Like, yeah. Well, anyway, it's really lovely, and it blooms, and I love to knit with it now. And this is going to be such a good piece. I think I will probably have it for many, many years, and I am looking so much forward to finish it and to wear it finally. So, yes, that was my work in progress. I have also another shawl in progress, but I didn't work for it since months now. I worked a lot on it in the summertime because I knit it. It's with fingering yarn, and it's a lace shawl project, and it's going to take ages to finish. So yeah, maybe I will resume this in spring again. Yeah, so this cardigan is now the only work in progress I have, but it keeps me busy a lot. And then the last thing I would like to share with you is my new practice I started end of last year. And it's a journaling practice actually. And I took a course from Knitography. She practiced this journaling, which she calls it the knitting bag book, since many years already. And she now shares her experience with that in the course, and I found it so good. So actually what it is about is you keep a little journal. I have this one with this super cute plant graphics on. I got this book from a friend for Christmas. And it was so funny because I was actually looking for a notebook which has a good size that I want to use, and I didn't have one straight away. I had only larger ones. And then I got this in my Christmas parcel from Germany, and I thought that's perfect. That's just the perfect size the course recommended. And yeah, so what you basically do in this journal, you sit down with it every time you pick up your craft, like your knitting, and before you start to knit, you take a moment to be in the moment, to check in with yourself, and to get awareness of how you feel and how you what your worries have, and you use this journal to write it down in a very brief way and to get it out of your mind, so to say, so you don't have to think about it all the time. And I found it really useful. I didn't manage to use it now every day, because there are some days actually I don't knit, and it's seldom, but there are some days I don't knit, and then I also don't use it. But if I knit, then I use it, and that's the whole point about it. So you kind of connect this practice with your knitting. And I also put in notes from my design progress, because, as I said, it's quite an emotional thing and with a lot of struggles, and it helps me to write it down, and I can read afterwards it, and I can see through which phases I was going, and that it was actually not so hard if you think of it afterwards when you have overcome it. But when you're in a struggle, it kind of can feel very very hard because you don't have the solution right there, so you don't know how you can overcome it sometimes. Yeah. That's the journal I keep now. Yes, and that's actually all I have to share with you for now. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention that I'm also on Waverly, and you can buy then my pattern on Waverly and also on Lovecraft. I will link it in the show notes, and my name on Waverly is Little Cabin Knits, same as on Instagram. And I hope you found this a bit inspiring, and I would love to hear from you how you liked it or what you don't like. It's both good to know for me to get a little feedback. And then I just have to say thank you for watching. Have a good day, and hope to see you around the next time. Bye bye.